Hello all, welcome to my channel. I'm the why you need to watch this video means I'm trying to make the anatomy a bit easier because anatomy is not a subject which is very easier to understand. So I'm trying to make it less complicated or more easier understanding. Just trying to say which are the more important stuff because there is much more and many derivatives are present in anatomy, but we will be just looking at which are the important stuff which we need to know, okay, and when it comes to any structure in the anatomy. I'm going to make a video on the particular parts. First, I'm taking the clavicle from today. From clavicle, I will start with that of the attachments, blood supply, nerve supply, like that. I will be trying to make this video small as possible so that I can and also try to put all the contents together here. So today we are going to look at the clavicle. It is the first bone in the upper limb and in the upper body. We are going in the clavicle. What we are going to look in and what is required means first is the side determination. Side determination, the shaft, which is an important structure, the lateral and medial ends, and the attachments. Okay, there is few facts which we need to remember in clavicle. The clavicle is the first bone to start with ossification, and it is having two primary centers of ossification, and it is the only bone in the human body which is horizontal in nature. Okay, and then we are going to look in through the clavicle. The side determination, how we are going to determine the sides means the clavicle is mainly having that of a acromial end and sternal end. Acromial end means this is basically a lateral end and sternal end is a medial end. This medial head will be having about 2/3 and lateral head is 1/3. Okay, and another thing is that the if you are not able to remember or you're not able to say which side means, you can also see the shaft. We can touch the clavicle and get to know if in the anterior surface of the clavicle is concave forward. Okay, if you're not able to remember what is concave and convex means, I have drawn a diagram of it. See, this is convex. Convex means it will be having a bulging in nature. Concave, it is having, as the name itself says, cave, there will be deep hollow structure. When the deep hollow structure is present, it is concave, and when the bulging is present, it is convex. Okay, and the other thing is that when you touch a clavicle, you can know the rough and smooth surface which is on the clavicle. Based on that, you can also say which is anterior and which is posterior in nature. The rough surface which is present, that will be the anterior, and the smooth surface which is present, that will be the posterior. When you look through the anterior surface, when you palpate, you can also see that this will be flat in nature. This is kind of quadrangular in nature, the sternal end. Okay, and when you palpate the posterior is having some of the important structure which you can remember. Okay, one is the subclavian groove, which is important. Okay, the groove is visible thoughtfully throughout the median side, and then the impression of the costoclavicular ligament, which will be visible in the sternal end, as well as the conoid tubercle. The conoid tubercle, which will be kind of sharp, which will be seemable in the lateral 1/3, and then that of a trapezoid ridge. Trapezoid ridge is most prominent, which you can palpate in the lateral 1/3 of the clavicle. Okay, so to summarize this, the clavicle is having acromial end and that of a sternal end. It is also can be touched and know which is the anterior and posterior. Anterior will be rough and posterior will be smooth, and the anterior will be concave forward and posterior will be convex backwards. And the important structure you can palpate here will be the subclavian groove and the impression of the costoclavicular ligament in the sternal end and that of a conoid tubercle in the lateral 1/3 and trapezoid ridge, which will be easier to palpate. Okay, these are the general features which is present. I'm showing here will be the right clavicle. Okay, in my next video I will make on the attachments of clavicle.